Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is Sean Ireton with Nuinspiration. So glad you came to this video. I'm really excited about it. It was a great interview with the great Loren Michaels Harris. He's an entertainer, he's a motivator, he's a person who inspires others. He's just an amazing all-around guy, and he's also a coach, by the way, so he's wonderful. He basically helps people work on their stories so that when they tell those stories, they come to life and in such a way that you communicate and just share so much more with the world. So he's an amazing guy, and this was a great interview. He asked lots of great questions about men's style, image consulting in general, what some of the different things about image are people concerned about, a little bit about my own story, and so much more. So it's an amazing interview. Go check it out. And again, I want to thank you, Loren, for having me on the show. I greatly appreciate you, greatly appreciate what you're doing. And just as a heads up, a little preface here. In the video, I am wearing a baseball hat, and I woke up 2 minutes before the interview at 6 a.m. And so I just had to get in, get started. So forgive that. But anyway, go check out the interview. Enjoy it, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
So Sean's company is actually called Nuinspiration with an N-U, not N-E-W. His business is all about serving and transforming men into extraordinary gentlemen. In the current age, men are paying less attention to how their appearance makes an impact on relationships with people as well as on their self-confidence. And for those who do not pay attention, no, and for those who do, there he is again. Okay, I approve. For those who do pay attention and find it valuable, oftentimes they struggle with how to do it in a way that makes sense to them. Hold on, Mr. Sean. And he calls himself a millennial, you guys. Having trouble coming on a Facebook Live. That's because he doesn't spend a lot of time on Facebook. He just spends a lot of time on his face. Image consultant. You know, probably takes him 4 hours to get ready. I bet his girlfriend, is it girlfriend or wife, Sean?
Fiance.
Oh, in between. I bet she has to stand outside the bathroom and wait on him. I guarantee you, I'll get her on the show later and we'll find out. So good morning, everyone. So there it is. I gave you a little input, insight into Nuinspiration. And so good morning, Mr. Sean. Say your last name.
Ireton.
Who?
Ireton.
Ireton. See, it's spelled I-R-E-T-O-N, so it's backwards.
Backwards?
Well, I'm saying it sounds like there's an I-E-R. I-R-ton. Not, it looks like I-re-ton. That's why I wasn't even going to play with it, because I knew I would get it wrong. Cam Huber, Nate Rio, and everyone else that I missed while I was having to go downstairs and actually walk Sean up the back way because he couldn't come on. Hello. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So everyone, so Sean, I see you have your, welcome to the show, first of all.
Thank you.
I see you have your robe on.
I do, and I'm making coffee right now because I...
You are? Okay, so that's what's going to be in your mug. Anything special about that mug?
Yeah, actually, it's the, it's Baymax from Big Hero 6. Are you familiar with that movie?
Not at all.
It's a Pixar movie. So Big Hero 6 is a movie that I really liked from Pixar. And
Pixar, isn't that those animated movies?
Yeah.
Okay, he is a millennial. Old people, we don't go to those. Because if I need to go to sleep in 10 minutes, I can do that right on my own couch. I don't need to pay $22. So, I'm just saying. So anyway, since you're an image consultant and somebody said, oh, you must be freezing, you're all bundled up. No. But I'm going to tell you something. I knew as an image consultant, he was going to try to come on here and upstage me. So see, he's got a hat on. He's got his luxurious robe on. So you know what? I wasn't playing with him this morning because my self-confidence needs every boost it can. So I'm just getting ready to bam, bam. Okay.
Oh, snap.
All right, I'm ready for you. So you won't be using me for a guinea pig this morning. So I'm just saying. There we go. And if we have time, I'll get my walking stick and my fur-lined cape and give you the rest of this outfit. I'm kidding. Please. I don't have.
Uh, you,
I'm kidding.
you've been downgraded from James Brown to the pimp.
See, one of these days they're going to create telephones and Facebook platforms where you can literally reach into the screen and strangle a person. You know, oh, we'll cross paths again. So anyway, let's get to it. Why don't you tell everybody, first of all, what made you think or know that image consulting was, first of all, something that a person could break into solopreneur? And what was it that drove you or encouraged you to step out and build this brand?
So there's two things there. So fashion has always been something I've loved ever since I was a kid.
Hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that dripping sound, just for the sake of what's going on in my mind, I'm going to need you to keep your hands up in the picture because it sounds like something other than coffee.
Oh, it's my Keurig.
That wasn't the bathroom you were just in, was it?
No, it was the Keurig. It's super loud.
Okay. Okay, because I kept picturing a urinal. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, so ever since I was a kid, I was really into fashion, and it was something for me because I was doing web design for so long. It's like almost 10 years of staring at a computer screen for 8+ hours per day, and it was just something that I was really getting tired of. And in that bio, it mentions part of that story, but I actually developed an astigmatism over time. So it was starting to affect my health in certain ways. And my fiance, the good woman that she is, she knew I wanted to work more with people. She knew I wanted to do something with fashion. And she found a custom menswear company that I still sell for. And I started selling for them. Really loved it. It was a great time. Helped a lot of people out. Their clothes fit them really, really well, and they're super happy with their wardrobe and everything. But I realized there was still something missing. There wasn't this like helping them overall with their style. There wasn't something for them to have like an experience where somebody helps them with everything across the board, not just really well-fitted garments, but helping them go shopping if they need it, helping them build out their personal brand, and not personal brand like what we think of in the PR world, where your voice, your brand message, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So a lot of these elements were missing from the experience I was providing with Jay Hilburn as the company. So there's a lot of elements missing there that I felt. What's that?
Oh, I just mouthed shameless plug. Nothing big. Go on. Did you get paid for that? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yes, I got paid $3,000. So I can, get some coaching with you. So I went along with that, and over time, like 6 months after I started Jay Hilburn, I started my company. And that's why I started Nuinspiration, was because I needed to provide this experience to guys.
Excuse me?
And I didn't really think about it as a solopreneur journey. It wasn't like I need to become an entrepreneur. It was more like I just want to help these guys out.
So why did you think about just guys? Because you're a guy?
Well, yeah, that's a big part of it.
Do you work with any women? Do women come to you and say, help me help my man because he looks like Al Bundy, or, he's a slob, he's a slouch, he's a slob. Do women come to you seeking your help to get through to their man, or do the guys just usually come on their own?
Women are actually probably the gateway drug, if you will, but I do every once in a while have women come to me and say, hey, exactly what you just said. I've had one client who bought some clothes from me. His wife came to me and was just like, I'm sick and tired of picking out clothes for him. Like I can't stand,
Oh,
like he's just like,
yeah.
he spends so much time shopping and asking me what I like instead of knowing what's best for him and then just picking,
Right.
buying it. She's like, I don't have time to deal with this. So just that kind of stuff every once in a while. Yeah.
And I get that because I see guys sometimes, men, and at it wherever, in an event or a mixer or whatever, and even though they look really, really great, well put together, when you start talking to them and their personality resonates, I immediately know you did not put that outfit together, and I'll ask them, so your wife put that outfit together, didn't she? And 99% of the time they'll go, yeah. Because there is something, I don't know how you feel about this, but there is something to be said about when they say you should wear the clothes and not let the clothes wear you, right? Because everybody knows that person who, especially back in the day, stores like Chess King and that kind of thing, you'd see somebody wearing the exact outfit that was on the mannequin. They're just going to get it all.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so why do you think that is, that people are, and not just, well, women are better at this, it's the truth, but why men in particular, why do you feel they're so non-courageous about stepping out and finding their own style,
I'll tell you.
or looking a little different? Men are not, it's hard for them to, like, they don't want to stand out. Are they afraid somebody's going to go, or what?
So the thing is that I've noticed, and both personally and secondarily, a lot of the men who are over masculine have this fear of looking like they're gay or metrosexual.
I feel you, dog.
They have,
Don't judge.
right. They
Hey.
just have, they're afraid of that for whatever reason. And I don't understand why.
Whatever. And then at the same time, they're looking at the metrosexuals and the gays and going, damn. You know why? Because I'm going to just be honest with you. How many times have we heard women say, oh, God, he's so good looking. He's got to be gay. I can't help it if we just naturally have style. But I know just as many straight guys, even macho guys. Do you really think that's the mindset still? I would have thought it was kind of evening out.
I mean, it is kind of evening out, but there are still many guys who think that way. I mean, there's other guys, and to the flip side of the coin, there are gentlemen who just are. So there's three groups basically. There's the guys that do care about how they look and how they dress, and are totally okay with it. They don't care what that means. And then there's the guys that we just talked about who are afraid of the consequences, the perceived consequences. And then,
You do.
and then there's the group that's just ignorant. Like they don't know how to dress themselves. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it. They know they want to look good, but they don't know why they don't look good. They don't know how to fix it. Just things like that.
Okay. So take us through the process. Say I'm that guy who wants to do better, who wants to look better, and who wants to feel better about himself. And so I reach out to you because you're in competition with the internet as far as like those trunk clubs where they show you the whole thing. To me, that's just a digital form of saying, give me that outfit in the window. There's the shoes, there's the belt, there's the socks, there's everything but the underwear. And they'll probably add that soon. But how do you feel? I mean, when a person comes to you, is there some type of evaluation? Do you have to how do you get to know that look that meshes or gels with their personality?
So one thing I want to kind of go on that slight tangent you had there about Trunk Club and all that kind of stuff, and then I'll answer your question. But like with programs and companies like Trunk Club and Trendy Butler and Bombfell and all these internet companies and Stitch Fix. All these companies have this.
What is Stitch Fix?
Stitch Fix is the same thing. It's just the.
Oh, that's a company.
Yeah, they're
okay. Go
all
ahead.
the same service.
Okay.
They have this utopian dream that everybody's going to love their clothes based on a box service, which I really appreciate, and I really like the business model. I like what they're trying to do, but it's the execution of it is not happening correctly. I've talked to several guys who are just unhappy with that type of service. They've tried one or two of them, and all the clothes come in that they don't fit right, and they think it's a pain in the ass to kind of put the stuff back in the box and mail it back out, and they
end up keeping it,
or they just return everything and don't use it. One of my clients and one of my friends actually, he tried Trendy Butler, I think it was, and the clothes did not fit him well, and the clothes were not good quality. So that's what he told me. So for me, seeing somebody kind of get involved in one of those services, I want to help them, because I know that most of the time they're not going to be happy. They're going to keep one or two items. And that's it. Maybe a pair of socks or something like that.
Sure.
But kind of my 2 cents on those programs, because they have a virtual stylist who just talks to you over the phone, and then they compile an outfit and send it out to you. And one of the things that they do is they ask for measurements and things like that. And sometimes guys have no idea what their correct measurements are. So that's part of the problem too. So they go on this service, they think it's super easy, that they just give them my measurements and we're all good. But some brands have different sizes for different measurements, things like that. So it's not as easy as it could be. But the process for me, it comes down to doing a questionnaire at the very beginning of the process, after we've already kind of talked about what they like to do as far as budget and other specific goals that they have. The questionnaire is something that I love doing, because this is something where I get to ask them a bunch of questions about themselves. And these aren't even questions like, what's your favorite color, or things like that, because those are irrelevant to the process, because they're here for a reason. And if they were giving me those colors and certain things that weren't helping them before, then we're not going to continue with that same behavior and that kind of stuff. But the questionnaire is more personality driven. So the questionnaire is, what are your personal goals? What are your personal values, your career values, your, some of your idols, people that you look up to, right? And people I can Google search, because I need to get a visual of that. Because sometimes I've gotten like, oh yeah, my dad, and I'm like, well, I love that, and that's great, but I can't necessarily Google search him. So there's just a bunch of different personality questions that help me determine what colors, patterns, and styles that are going to work best with his personality. And then go ahead.
Well, I want to ask you this, because everybody knows people like this. And most of it, we may have fallen into this trap ourselves and not even known it. But let's talk about body image. Because a lot of people, not just women nowadays, have body image issues. Now, and I know you can understand this, because I did my dirt digging, and I went back into your past. And while I was, poking around in there, I noticed that you weren't always of the body frame that you are today. You once were, okay, let's just keep it real, pretty darn big.
I was a fat kid, for sure.
I didn't want to say that, because that's not politically correct for me, but you can say whatever you want about yourself. You were heavy. You were heavy. And so, and now listen, and you and I talked about this when we were out in Los Angeles, because coming from a health and wellness business, I know that oftentimes people lose a lot of weight, and they're small on the outside, but they're still big on the inside. and they still try to hide and cover up and this and the other. So you have that side of it. And then, you know, sometimes I'm just going to keep it real. Sometimes you see that person, usually a woman, sorry girls, but y'all know too, she knows good and well she should not have squoze herself into those leggings. Okay? Sometimes you look at stuff and you just go, now that's just doggone nasty. She ought to be shamed. Now, what is it that makes a person put on something that they know when they're walking around in it, everybody is going? I mean, not everybody can hide, like, aw. And then when they turn away, ooh. You know, some people, it's just written all over their face. So what is it that makes a person not see or feel what the outside world is really thinking when it's written all over their faces? How can, you know, a person put on something and think it looks like really good? Like, there's no way you should have worn that polka dot shirt with that zigzag skirt. So body image. Don't you think that what is that thing when people look at what's in front of them but see something totally different than the rest of us?
So now, are you asking for that person's, the one with body issues, point of view, or are you asking for the other person's point of view?
I want yours. What, I mean, have you ever worked with somebody and you say, because I would probably, if I was doing what you do, I'd say, come bring your best looking outfit, the thing you think you, and I don't say the thing you think you look the best in. I would probably say the thing you feel the best in, just to see, because a lot of it has to do with what you feel. I know, like when I used to be in the corporate world and I would have a meeting or whatever, and I needed to get something done, I knew to wear my sky blue shirt and my dark blue suit and my red power tie or whatever, because I knew what it did for me. I had certain looks that when I wanted to get the job, if I wore it, I knew that was half of the you know, challenge already off the table because of the way it made me feel. So I guess my question is, what do you do to find out, okay, this person just don't have any taste? Because not everybody has good taste.
Right. I go through their Facebooks. I look through, I add them on Facebook at the beginning of the process, and that gives me a look into, it sounds creepy, but it gives me a look into their personal life in terms of like when they're taking selfies, when they're out there in their day-to-day, like what are they actually wearing? And that helps me kind of figure out, like, gets a litmus test as far as where they're at. I have a client who's just like, he used to wear like North Face jackets all the time and like oversized jeans with them, and weird shoes that kind of looked like those weird toe, you know, those toe shoes, like those athletic toe shoes that you go to like the.
Oh,
so you'd wear.
Those are creepy.
Yeah, so he'd wear stuff kind of like that with his.
They're like feet gloves.
Yeah, exactly. So he'd wear something like that to like just regular stuff, like doing errands and grocery shopping, and he's single, and he wants to get out there and date and feel confident about himself, but he's got this wardrobe that says he's like a, you know, 58-year-old white dad, you know, or something like, you know, just like something that's so off of who he is. And he's like a young Asian guy, you know, and he's like a handsome dude, and he didn't know what to do with his hair. He didn't know what to do with his clothes, and he was just had no clue. And he just
awkward
yeah.
When it comes to style.
Right. So I have to be as honest with them as possible without trying to hurt feelings here and there. So I try to be upfront, honest where it makes the most sense. I've had a client who has like 30 ties, and 3/4 of them were from like the 90s or whatever, or early
to go wide ones,
super wide, and like the pattern is hideous or whatever.
This is red wine under the microscope.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember those? Pizza. I had them. They were good when they were in, but you know, you got to get rid of stuff.
Right.
Wait, that brings me to my next question. What about people that live in a time machine? Because they looked good in a certain look in the 80s, they still like, it's like they wear it thinking they're going to force it to come back into style.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever encounter that?
So I've had a couple of people who have relics of the past in their wardrobe, but thankfully they don't wear it very often, and if they do, it's rarely. But
Hiding under the umbrella of retro.
right, I've
Excuse me. That silk scarf from Saturday Night Live has not come back yet.
exactly.
No, that leisure suit.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I'm gonna stop.
suit or something like that.
Right.
I haven't yet had a client who wears full-on 80s suits every day with like, I'm racking my brain trying to remember that brand name of tie that was really well known for being so ugly looking. And I can't remember. It's like a guy's name or something like that. But, so I haven't yet had a client like that, right? Who wears constantly 80s looks and stuff like that. Most of the time, as of lately, it's just been clients who have bits and pieces from those time periods. Mm-hmm. And the client that I was talking about with all those ties, he was having trouble letting go of some of them because he was so attached to them in such a way.
So is it when they're attached to stuff like that, do you find that is it the item itself, or is it the time in their life previously that it represents? I was happy, things were good, women loved me, I was successful, and they maybe equate all of those happy memories to these items?
So with that one, I didn't get too deep. That's something that I'm working on though, trying to do more of when I'm working with these clients, is trying to really get to the bottom of it more than the surface level, because a lot of the excuses for keeping stuff like that is, I just really love that tie because I like the way it looks with some of my shirts. But now that I think about it, when you mention that, there has to be a deeper reason than.
Of course.
So, yeah, I mean that.
Of course.
But it's one of those things where I had to tell him, like, all right, we'll get rid of half of the ones that I want to get rid of, and then I'll show you what I'm thinking for a new version of it, or some replacements, because he was just getting really attached and feeling like, you're going to get rid of all my ties and I'm not going to have any more options. And he didn't have a visual of what I was to get him to wear. So I said, well, when we go shopping, I will show you what ties will look good and things like that. So that way I said, would that help you out? And he said, yes,
yeah.
That would. So that way he has more of it.
Do you ever go to a client's home and actually look in their closets?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Yeah.
Because, some people are like bone collectors. One of them lives right upstairs. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. He's still sleeping. But Brian has so many clothes that in one of our guest rooms, he had so much stuff hanging on the two walls that the racks came out of the walls. We had to rebuild the entire closet. Now, what is that? Though? When people hold on, do you think that has a lot to do? Now, Brian has no problem buying new and trendy clothes and pushing the envelope and this and the other. But I do know people who hold on to, I do it. I have stuff that when I go through looking for that one thing or something, I'll come across something I haven't seen in 2 or 3 years. And instead of thinking, well, let me donate this, or why am I even holding this? I like, well, I'm going to wear it, and never do. So does that have something to do with, if you get rid of things, then you make room for new? So is there like a hoarding mentality that could be keeping guys from feeling the need to update and continually feed into their wardrobe to stay current and to feel good about themselves?
Yeah, so there is a little bit of a hoarding mentality. And I'm sure some of it's based off of what you were just talking about, where there's like a strong emotional attachment. Um, but sometimes there's guys who are really good about that stuff too. There's some guys who will actually just clean out their closets every once in a while and say, I haven't.
How often should you do that?
I would say that you should clean out your closet maybe at the least every year or two, just to keep things kind of fresh and keeping things moving, because every other year there's going to be an item that you item or two or more that are like maybe 2 or 3 years old or 4 years old, and
Uh-huh.
that stuff is going to wear and tear. And what I really would love people to do is when they're noticing something that's getting really worn out really bad, and they feel like they have to throw it in the trash, don't throw it in the trash.
What do you do with it?
Donate it. There's,
Yeah, I
like
agree.
like if you're missing 2 buttons, don't throw it away in the trash. That doesn't make any sense. You can put new buttons on a shirt, but the rest of the material is still good. Like if the maybe if there's just a little bit of armpit stain, that's okay. Just get it dry cleaned and try to get rid of that as much as you can, and then just donate some clothes. Like there's people who need that stuff, and that's why
This is true.
when I do closet audits and I do those wardrobe consultations and stuff like that, I'll take the clothes that they get rid of, that I've helped them get rid of, and actually take it to a donation center here in Downey, California. And it's not a Goodwill. It's a place called Close the Deal, and I've talked about it on my Facebook and stuff before, but they're a really great organization because they take clothes in and they give clothes for free to low-income individuals who need it for
That's
like
great.
job interviews and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
and I give the receipt to my clients so that they get the write-off.
right. My dry cleaner has a program like that where they take donated business clothes and they give them to people coming out of shelters and out of incarceration, just people in need who need business clothes. And I love that. And they repair them, they clean them, they get it all set up. Yeah, yeah, that's great. So let me ask you this. Let's talk about you. Well, first of all, before we, I got one other question before I get to you. When a person has transformed their body, lost some weight, or they gained some weight, what about, let's talk about the person who has lost the weight. Do you feel it's a positive thing once you hit your optimum weight, the goal that you've been going after? How important is it, or not, that you get rid of your fat clothes? A lot of people hold on to them.
So there's two things here. There's two types of mentality. I've had people who are saying like, I need those clothes just in case or whatever. And I'm just like, just in case what? And they're like, in case I gain my weight back. Okay, you get rid of it because you're getting into this mindset of like, oh, well, I might get fat again. And then you're allowing.
This is temporary.
Yeah. You're allowing that idea to come back in and fill out those clothes. So if anybody who's listening right now who's losing weight and you get to your goal weight and you've lost more than like 20-30 pounds, get rid of those the clothes before you lost the weight, because that's not going to help you. If you want like 1 or 2 items as an outfit so that you can use it as a reminder, okay, fine, but don't keep a whole bunch of those clothes, because you're going to get in this mindset of like, I need to fill those back out at some point.
Okay. Now, as far as you being an image consultant, do you feel like that you're constantly underneath the style microscope, so to speak, that when you go out, you have an obligation, a responsibility to be the example? And if so, do you actually feel super great every time you put something on, or do you too struggle with and have to ask people, how does this look? What do you think of this? Because some people would probably be under the assumption that it's automatic with the person that does what you do. Is that the case or no?
Yeah, I'm a human being. I mean, I still have my times of doubting myself. Sometimes I still struggle because I love wearing baseball caps. Like ever since I was a kid, I've just loved baseball hats. So for me, like if I go out wearing a baseball hat, I'm going to feel like, is this dressed up enough? or
Yeah.
am I representing my company well? And the answer is it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm For me, I'm already taken. I'm not trying to attract a new woman into my life. So if I were to go out to the grocery store, like dressed really, really well, like I don't I don't necessarily need to do that, because I feel like that's the type of mindset that you need to be in when you are single and you're trying to meet somebody. Looking good everywhere you go, so that you have the potential of, you know, attracting somebody new into your life. But it's a toss up. It kind of depends on the situation too. Like if you're going grocery shopping, I'm going to dress up like in jeans and a well-fitted t-shirt. I don't think everybody should wear oversized clothes and stuff that doesn't look good for the majority of the time and only dress up sometimes. I think that our basics need to be well fitted too and look good too. So t-shirts and jeans, all that stuff needs to fit really well, so that
That's a great point.
when you are in that mindset of I'm not going to wear a suit today, you're putting on clothes that actually do fit really well and that
Right.
all work together cohesively as an outfit, so that when you do leave the house, you are feeling more confident. Like, okay, I look good in this outfit. I'm going to go get some bananas at Walmart, and I know I'm going to look good. So,
Right. So you don't have to dress up like you're going to some big event, but you still need to give the illusion, if you will, that you have at least taken some time in choosing what you wear. And I am a huge champion of that, because I believe that you are, no matter what you're doing, you're still representing your message. You never know who's going to be in the grocery line with you, because I know, like, I don't care if I was in the grocery line with you and we just happened to start chatting and I say, well, what do you do? And you tell me I'm an image consultant, and you see me go, oh, really?
yeah.
How's that working out for you? You see what I mean? Because you never know who you're sitting with or who you're standing in front or behind. So there is that element that you have to at least look like what you're representing was intentional. You just didn't get up and go, okay, this feels blue, I'm gonna put it on. You see what I mean? So I agree with that. So as we come around this last lap of the interview, let's talk about the person who feels like, or the person who feels that, yeah, that's easy for you to say. You probably have all this disposable income to bring your wardrobe up to a better place, but I just don't have anything extra. What recommendations do you have for a person that wants to do better, but just for whatever reasons, financially, it's just not feasible right now? What can they do to start the process of feeling better with their wardrobe?
So I hear this frequently. Usually happens when I talk about the price point of the custom clothing that I have. Some people who aren't in that price range will veer off a little bit and get nervous, but there's many ways that you can do this. There's good stuff at Marshall's. There actually is good stuff at Marshall's. There's good stuff from time to time. I haven't found a lot of good stuff at Ross before, but I know Marshall's has some pretty good stuff. And you can go to Marshall's and you can find something. And honestly, it doesn't matter what brand you buy or anything like that. Make sure the fit is good. So I would recommend something that's more form fitting. It's closer fitting to the body. It's not too big. It's not too tight, because that's a problem that people run into. And it's too tight when it's pulling like the front button in the chest or something like that. Or if it's like pulling fabric in your back and your
Sure.
lats and stuff like that. And it's too big when it's like straight up and down from your chest down to your waist, or if it's like, like flowing freely. Just properly fitted will kind of follow the silhouette And that's what people need to look out for. Wearing slim fit jeans, and I'm not talking about skinny jeans. Everybody assumes that when I say slim fit, it means skinny. And the skinny is what their idea of like what a skater kid wears, where it's just skin tight. It looks like they're wearing.
That's not age appropriate for a lot of us.
No. So slim fit is, again, just like the shirts that I was talking about. It's following the silhouette, but it's not skin tight. Just following the gradual curve. You know,
that's an old song.
Someone mentioned JCPenney. JCPenney is actually a decent place to go. I mean, you can find stuff that is well fitted there too. I mean, every store has some good fitting stuff. And as far as composing,
what?
You gotta.
I'm keep it real.
You gotta
figure out. I will only go to JCPenney for underwear and socks.
You got to figure out the department that works best for you in the store. So,
well, you got to admit though, there are stores that just don't fit certain people's persona and style.
Like H&M is not the best place for, you know, the 50 plus community. There's a lot of styles at H&M. Well, majority of H&M anyway, not everything at H&M, but the
Abercrombie and Finch or whatever they're called. That's not a place. When I walk in there, I feel like, you know, I'm inside the kiddie playground at McDonald's. You know, like that's like me getting inside that big old tub of balls and playing around in there when I walk into one of those trendy. Not to say and that's another thing. When I see guys that are like way out of the age appropriate parameters, you know what I mean? They got Fat Albert coats and jerseys and they're like 66 years old. It just doesn't look right. I mean, is that wrong for me to think? Doesn't everybody have the right to dress the way they want to? But
it's just they need to understand some basic rules first. I mean, and once you understand basic rules, then you can start to break them here and there where it would make sense. But just bottom line is fit. Just make sure fit is good.
Excuse me.
And then wearing patterns and colors that communicate your personality, but aren't going to look like your skin tone. Because that's a problem that I've seen is like people will like high contrast men. So men like with my skin tone, I shouldn't be wearing like
yellow
or salmon, yellow, stuff like that, because it's gonna make me look naked. So
salmon,
right? Yeah, don't want to wear stuff. More higher contrast outfits for these kinds of skin tones.
Sure.
What you're wearing is great. I wouldn't like, for example, for you, like I wouldn't wear like a dark brown shirt because that would match skin tone.
Don't own a one.
So that's kind of a basic rule of thumb too. And then pattern matching is something that I see people get into and making mistakes there, is that they wear patterns that are too similar in size and style to each other. So for example, they'll wear like a gingham shirt with like a medium stripe tie. It's kind of hard without a visual, but as long as the pattern is bigger than the one you're matching it to or smaller than the one you're matching it to, it'll look okay, because what you're trying to do is make sure that the
contrast. Right. Well, Sean, let me say this. Oh, a little tip. Since we were talking about fit, this is something that I do, and it's a way to be able to continually add into your wardrobe on a budget. I will go to like Macy's, and they'll have jackets, sport coats, and stuff on sale. Now, if I find I don't mess with the sleeves, if the sleeves are too short or too long, I might deal with, because I have a really good seamstress who will move the sleeve up to where it needs to be, and the buttons and the slit in the jacket and all that. But you know, I bought a really great jacket a few weeks ago, and it was a size, it fit me in the shoulders, but it was too straight down and boxy and so I just pulled it in, and I looked at where it was, and I took it to her, and she moved the buttons over. Perfect. You know, oftentimes, you know, if there's a pair of pants on a clearance rack, like I just got at Banana Republic the other day, I wanted a 31, they only had a 30. It's going to cost me $5 a leg. for her to move that hem down. And so I'll go ahead and get it. So one of the things I recommend that men get is find yourself a really good tailor or a really good seamstress, because then, you know, what they charge you, if you find something and it's next to nothing and it looks really great, it's just a little off in the fit, you can spend those extra bucks, just $5 or $10, and get them to make it fit you as if it were made for your body. And even sometimes things that say that they're my exact sizes, I know that they can be just a little bit better. So I'll invest that $5 or $10 and I'll take it in, and my girl will always make it look like it was made especially for me. Yep. So that's just a tip from me to you. And so, Sean, when I release you and send you back downstairs in the elevator, would you do us the honor of going in and dropping all of your contact information in the comment section below so people will know where to find you? Do you offer free consultations?
Yeah, I'll do some free ones. Yeah, I'll do some phone consultations or video consultations.
Okay, great. And so everybody, you know, if you have any questions or comments, hook up with Sean. And ladies, if you need to bring your man from the 60s or 70s into the current era, and gentlemen, if you just want that extra thing that gives you that extra flair, and you want to, you know, do the thing that will shut the mouth of your significant other, you know, and at least make the effort, why don't you reach out and see, because I'm sure he can, if Sean can help you. So Sean, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure, and I've learned a lot, and I'm sure everyone out there has as well. So have a blessed day. And anything you want to say to the audience before we go?
So this is something that Loren has helped me with. I've said something similar, but he helped me kind of reshape it a little bit. But your image is the cover to a book, and everything inside that book is the story that you tell. And if you don't have a good cover, nobody's going to want to read that story. So,
bam, hold on. Drop the mic. Ooh. Okay, so Sean, that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. Because no matter what, at the end of the day, when living within our purpose, it is because we each have a story, and our stories will always be greater than we are. So if your wardrobe and anything related to it is stopping you from telling a classic as far as your story goes, at least consider changing the outside cover of your book so that you are a classic and people will want to read, and you are not just something sitting on the shelf or ending up in a garage sale. You're a page turner. Sean, thank you so very much. Have a wonderful day. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for having me, man.
You're more than welcome. Be good.
Take care.
Excuse me. Well, okay, you guys. There we have it. A lot in there. I know you thought that this was kind of one of those things where it's like, I'm not into clothes, I'm not into wardrobe. But you see that a lot of things tie into how we feel about ourselves. And that's what I was going for today by having Sean on. Thank you so much, Sean, for sharing all those great tips and insights into how we can all feel better from the outside and, most importantly, than the inside. I want you to get out there today and do everything that we know we're supposed to do, and that is be the best that you can be. Get out and love up on everyone you can, but first remember, you have to start by loving yourself. Sometimes wardrobe has a lot to do with that. I'm Loren Michaels Harris. Tomorrow on the show, I have David Bryson. You're going to love David. He has an international podcast, and he's an author. He's a speaker. Really, really great guy. I believe the podcast is Why Can't You? Or some, oh God. You'll find out when I post the meme later today. I was on his show. As a matter of fact, he's on my show tomorrow, and I am on his show tomorrow, his podcast, which was pre-recorded, but he'll be live right here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central. So make sure you join me. Hit the notifications button so you never miss any of the great content right here on Bathrobe Moments, and then hit the share button. Even something like this about wardrobe and how we feel about ourselves could really help somebody. So start the process by hitting the share button, won't you? And listen, I am looking for some great guests for next week. I have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday still available. So if you or someone you know has a story, who has a message, and we all do, PM me and we'll get you going. I'm Loren Michaels Harris. This has been your Bathrobe Moment. I'll see you here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 8 a.m. Central. Excuse me, God willing. Have a blessed day. Get out there today and grab every single blessing that you can. And then remember, you have an obligation to also be the blessing. I'll see you tomorrow.